The Simple Path to Wealth is a book that I recently read through for probably the third or fourth time. I listened through it on Audible, and this is my review of said book. Now, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins is a book designed to help you become wealthy, to build your wealth, to become rich over time. Now, this is not a book about having some great business idea. This is not a book about YOLOing crypto. It's not a book about probably anything you see in most popular media. This is about a very simple and practical approach to becoming wealthy. So let's get into what this book is about, who it's for, and why I like it so much. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins is a book that really formed out of his blog and his attempt to ultimately teach financial independence, wealth building, those kind of concepts to his college-age daughter. It turns out that J.L. Collins is an excellent writer, and he wrote a fantastic series of blog posts called the Stock Series, and then ultimately that got turned into this book eventually. And the ideas are very simple. The basic idea is this: spend less than you earn, invest the surplus, and avoid debt. Do those things, and you will get rich. The practical version of this that you would end up actually following are 1, get and stay out of debt. Just don't have debt. 2, live on 50% of what you earn. 3, invest the surplus in VTSAX. That's the entire sort of investing plan as far as how do you get rich. He then advises that when you get towards retirement, if you want to, quote, smooth the ride, instead of putting everything into Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTSAX, he recommends smoothing the ride out when you get older by adding bonds into the portfolio. So maybe you have like a 75% VTSAX and then 25% the total bond fund, which I think is like BND or VBTLX, I think maybe. The entire point that he is getting at, and the entire point of being rich, in his view, is to get to what he calls FU money. Well, a lot of people call it FU money. And the whole point of FU money is freedom, that you can say FU to anything you don't want to do, you're not interested in, that you're being forced to do, that kind of thing, that you can ultimately like walk away from any deal that you want to walk away from. At the end of the day, these are the hard-worn lessons that he has learned over his life, and many others have learned as well. His approach is very much, you put all your eggs in the basket of VTSAX and just ignore the basket. Just don't look at it. You don't sell when the market's down. You don't sell ever. You just kind of keep adding to it until it's such a big and glorious basket of wealth that you're wealthy. You have enough that you can live on forever, or effectively forever, using the 4% rule. So that's kind of the high level overview of the book. I'm not going to explain every idea in the book because otherwise you'd have no reason to read it. And I personally think it's a good idea for you to read it. Now, I don't say that because I have an affiliate link. I don't have an affiliate link. I think this is a useful book for really anyone who wants to become wealthy, to understand a lot of the practical side of it, understand ultimately a lot of the responsibility. Investing for your future is a very simple thing. But it's sort of like lifting weights. Sure, it's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy, and that doesn't mean everyone's going to do it. It's one thing during, say, a boom time, say the last few years as of recording this video, to say, just invest it all in the stock market, you'll be totally fine. What do you do when it drops 10, 20, 30%? A lot of people cash out and at the bottom, and then they wait till it goes up a bit, and then they put money back in, and they kind of never really reap the rewards of the generalized upward trend of the stock market. So that's, something where I think a lot of people could benefit from the wisdom in this book, but also from a practical standpoint, very few people will do this. And I think ultimately that's some of the power of it. Like many things that require some level of discipline and some level of thoughtfulness, most people just aren't going to do it. A lot of times investing is what Scott Adams would call a confusopoly. It's something that is really designed to be confusing and designed to be difficult and designed to be something where they can ultimately, like the financial industry can take your money from you. That's why they exist. That's why they have big, beautiful buildings and you don't, and I don't. It's because they're very good at taking money from their investors and, reaping the rewards. For the kind of person that wants to take responsibility for themselves, for the kind of person that wants to take responsibility for their money, this book, The Simple Path to Wealth, is an excellent book to help you along that way. So if you're one of those people, it's worth a read. Also, as an aside, the Audible version of this book is excellent. It is read by the author, and he does a wonderful job of reading his book. It is an entertaining listen. I enjoyed it a lot. I've listened to it more than once. To sum all of this up, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins is an excellent book. Even if you don't follow it to the letter, you will probably learn something very valuable. If you do follow it, very closely to the letter, or actually to the letter, it will probably make you rich. So, for $7 or $10 or whatever, probably $4 for a used copy, or use an Audible credit if you're, doing Audible. That could add hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to your net worth over a period of years. So probably good ROI on your time if you choose to read it. I've read it a few times. I think it's great. So there you go. That's my review.